Are you planning to apply for university and need an English language qualification? My name is James Bloor and I've been working with Cambridge exams for more than 25 years. Stay with me for the next few minutes and I'll give you the lowdown on what you need to do now to get your application right. Okay, hopefully you've already got a short list of universities that you'd like to apply to. If you're planning to study in English and it's not your first language, you'll almost certainly need some kind of certificate to demonstrate to the uni that you'll be able to manage language-wise. But which certificates do they accept and when do they need them? You should be able to find the answers to these questions and many others on the university's admissions page, so that should definitely be your first port of call. Once you're on the admissions page, you'll need to find the language requirements section, and there you'll find some critical pieces of information. First, what certificates do they accept? The majority of European universities will accept Cambridge Advanced, IELTS and maybe also some other exams. But never assume, always check and double check. Next, you'll need to know what score or grade you need in your chosen exam. This is often expressed in terms of the Cambridge English scale, and I'll be making another video about that soon. Link in the description. For example, you may need an overall score of 176, which translates to just below a grade C in Cambridge Advanced and 6.5 in IELTS. You may also need a minimum score in the individual papers, not lower than 169 on the Cambridge English scale, for example, or band 6 in IELTS. Once again, check and double check. Finally, you need to know what proof of this certificate the university will need and when. Cambridge Advanced and IELTS both have ways of making the results directly accessible to the university, so it may be that you just need the results. In other cases, though, they might want the actual certificate or an electronic copy thereof. And make sure you find out the deadline for submitting whatever it is that they require. This seems to vary from institution to institution, sometimes January, sometimes March, sometimes even later. Obviously, this is super important and it will have a direct influence on the next step. Generally speaking, you're not going to be able to register for an exam, take the exam the next week and get the results the week after that. These things take time and a bit of planning. A quick Google should help you find out where you can take your chosen exam locally. In Košice in Slovakia, for example, the School of Law organises the Cambridge C1 Advanced exam and the British Council organises IELTS. Go to the relevant website and find out the possible dates for your chosen exam. In Košice, we tend to organise the C1 Advanced exam in December and then in the spring, so maybe April, May and definitely in June. But this can vary from year to year, so as usual, check and double check. Also, make sure you find out the deadline for registering for that date. Typically, for the Cambridge C1 Advanced, it's 6 to 8 weeks before the exam itself. So for an exam in December, you'd probably need to register in October sometime. Finally, find out how long it takes to get the results for that exam, and also the certificate. For Cambridge Advanced, usually the results come in about 4 weeks, although it might be a little bit longer than that, and then the certificate comes 4 weeks after that. Now that you have all that information, you can work backwards from your university submission date to find out the latest possible time when you could do the exam and get the results and or certificate in time. If you have to send a copy of your C1 Advanced certificate by March the 15th, for example, you should be fine to do the exam in early to mid-December. The results will be out by the end of January, and you should get your physical certificate by the end of February or the beginning of March. I wouldn't necessarily leave it this late, though, if you can avoid it. If it were me, I'd prefer to have the exam under my belt a few months in advance. But life is not always perfect, and you might have other things going on in your life which limit your choices about when it is optimal for you to do the exam. Only you know this. It's also worth noting that you shouldn't do the exam too early. Universities will generally require a certificate to be not older than a given number of years. For IELTS this is usually 2, and for C1 Advanced it might be 2 or a little bit more. Again, check this out on the admissions page, and if the information's not there, contact the admissions department directly. Check and double check. Okay, now you know your window of opportunity, the earliest and the latest that you can do your exam. All you need to do now is make sure that you pass. I would strongly recommend spending a little bit of time identifying your current level of English. Do this as soon as possible so that you know how far and how easy or difficult your English journey from here to the exam will be. And how should you do this? Well, maybe you can get your teachers in school to help, or you can get some past paper books for your chosen exam. But the best way is probably to get in touch with someone like me in your local area who can send you some materials to check out your reading and use of English and maybe writing, and have a chat with you to find out how your speaking is. Anyway, once you've figured out where you are now and where you need to be, all you need to do is put in the hard work. You can do this in school or through self-study, or you could get in touch with a local language school. Okay, I hope that helped. Do let me know in the comments if you have any questions, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more fantastic videos about English and exams. Bye-bye.